Street down to the Sydney line, and from Oakland over to the Kennebec River, Oakland Town line, I should say. Today's topic is LD187, and more specifically, like in other videos, why I'm running. I don't believe that we're being represented correctly in the city of Waterville, and sometimes we're not being represented at all. This one is going to be one of those cases. So let's get right into this. Let's pull the bill up here. Again, at the end of this video, I'm going to put the links to all of the information I have. But this bill, 187, an act to restore the laws governing the reunification of parents and children. Sounds pretty good to me so far. You know, anything we can do to help that along, let's do it. Presented by Representative Gramlich out of Old Orchard Beach. Happens to be a Democrat. That's okay. And so let's get right into the bill. So this one's a little different. I'm not going to show you just a summary. I'm going to show you what the bill is actually about. It took me good 6 reads before I finally understood how the committee brought it out and how they were voting on it. The voting was all over the place. Everybody had an opinion, and it wasn't down party line at all. So this is one of those bills that makes you think. It's very small in nature, but it changes the verbiage. So currently, state statute, as it's listed here, rehabilitation and reunification as a priority, require that reasonable efforts be made to rehabilitate and reunify families as a means to protect the welfare of children, but prevent needless delay for permanent plans for children when rehabilitation and reunification is not possible. Okay, so that's how the statute currently reads, I say. This bill wanted to strike the require that reasonable efforts part out of statute and replace it with give families rehabilitation and reunification priority. Okay. Again, this one's one of those complex ones, just the way it came out of committee. Okay. Came out of committee as an ought not pass. So as an ought not pass, they want to keep the verbiage require that reasonable. And we're not putting in the give part. The bill itself would have watered down give with the word give. We as a state take a child out of a situation. My belief is that if those parents are doing everything in their power to correct what has happened for the welfare of that child, for the state to step in, we as a state should require ourselves to make reasonable efforts. We've separated parent from child. Why wouldn't we require a reasonable effort to be made to bring those two back if the parents are doing what's right? So as it comes out of committee as an ought not pass, I'm voting for the ought not pass because I want to keep the verbiage as a require, not a give. So the beginning of this bill, at the beginning of this video, told you that I don't think we're being represented correctly in Augusta, and sometimes not at all. So let's talk about that. So again, roll call number 200. I'll put the link down below at the end of the video. Thankfully, this bill failed. So the require for reasonable efforts stays. We weren't. This is one of those ones that I'm like, why weren't we represented at all? We didn't get a check mark in the box. We're either for or against. I don't know how our representative feels about this bill because there's no check mark in the box. I'm not going to be that kind of representative. I'm going to put a check mark in this box. I'm going to vote ought not pass. I'm going to accept the majority report on this because I want that requirement. Interestingly enough, this hit the floor on June 6th. Roll call number 199 was also heard on June 6th. There's a check mark in that box. An act to allow for sale of non-prescription drug through vending machines. There's a check mark in the box. Roll call number 201 also happened after this one. The resolve to implement an intensive drug treatment court pilot project in the Midcoast. Check mark in a box. We weren't represented in this one in between. That's not how this works. You vote for us to go do a job in Augusta. We're your representative. We're the ones making your voice heard in Augusta. I'm going to make sure that your voice is heard. I have to question why there wasn't a check mark in the box. That's all the time we got today. I'm Rick Foss. Vote for me on November 3rd. Let me go to work for you.